Yeah, I know it's been 2 years, but this video, I can't get past it.
Yeah, I mean, it has been 2 years, and clearly you can't get past it.
I'm not getting past it because I can't stand these idiot leftists that behave this way. Guys, so here's the deal. 2 years ago, at the very beginning of COVID, John had this topic here about whether Disney, he posed the question, should Disney drop Evangeline Lilly as the WASP character in Ant-Man? Because, and he says that the topic was over refusal to quarantine. That's what he put in the video. That's not what happened. She didn't refuse to quarantine. Mm-hmm. And this has pissed me off for 2 whole years, and I keep thinking maybe I'll be past it, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, let's work this out for you.
We're gonna need to talk about this, because
right.
these leftists are so dumb. You know what I mean?
I think Steve is dumb. I'm reading this question.
Yeah, so it starts with, John brings it up because of this guy, Steve. Steve brought it up, this guy who wrote in, right? So here's John reading the question.
Steve, who writes,
Steve!
So,
Steve!
actress Evangeline Lilly is proudly refusing to self-isolate herself or her family. If they make a third Ant-Man, should they...
First of all, self-isolate herself. Do you think Steve's a bright guy?
It's not well written. When
you hear him, I mean, do you kind of think immediately like, oh, I get it. He's not bright. You know, self-isolate herself.
Yeah.
He had to throw in the word.
He wasn't an English major.
Apparently not. But the funniest is, again, she did not refuse. If you look up her quote, she didn't say, I refuse.
Yeah.
She didn't say that at all. Steve is out of his mind. John and John's buddy, Robert Meyer Burnett, did not bother addressing this. And I think this is dangerous. These guys are really dangerous people to be saying things like this. They really are, to be misquoting and getting her wrong. Check out the rest of this.
Okay. Replace her with another actress.
What is that going to do? What? Replace her with another actress? What? Because of what? Because she said, "Oh, I value my freedom." You get you know what kind of communist shit that is? That you get rid of an actress, you fire somebody because they go, "Oh, you know what? I actually value my freedom." I'm like, what? Get her out of here.
Yeah, I never saw this Campea episode, and I really didn't. I still don't really know much about anything that she said back when all of this came about. So I'm kind of learning as we go right now.
All right, well, I'm not. I've seen this too many times. Here we go.
It's such dangerous
idiocy
with a generous payday. If she got
let me point out again. I know logic is not John's thing and certainly not Steve's thing, but let me just point some things out. What she says on her private time about valuing the most fundamental thing that there is, the most fundamental right that there is not her payday. Her payday is for her acting in Ant-Man and the other films that she's in too.
Yeah.
So be rewarded with a generous payday. Notice he throws in the word generous. What he's really saying is, I'll never make the kind of money Evangeline Lilly makes. And I can't even fucking self-isolate herself. I'll never get past that. So what he's really saying is, I'm very jealous. And she even had the bravery. She was the first one that I know of. The first one. That's why I remember this video.
Yeah.
She was the first person publicly to say, well, I don't give a fuck about all this talk about we have to lock down, we have to not work. Like, we still have freedoms too. She said something to that effect. And so anyway, let's continue with this. It's just this guy, he's literally like 2 sentences in, and he's already gotten so many things wrong here. Let's continue.
Drunk, got behind the wheel and crashed her car into a school gate. Marvel would drop her in an instant.
That's the same.
Just as dangerous and a risk to life. What kind of...
Let me point... Okay, again, he's barely gotten a couple of sentences. Look how wrong he is. He just compared getting drunk, getting behind the wheel of a car, crashing her car into a school. Yeah. Well, a school gate he chose for some reason. That's even dumber. So the gate is the problem. The school wouldn't be so bad. But that's not what... She's breathing. She's breathing and going, oh, I kind of value my freedom. And he's like, whoa. She picked up an Uzi, walked into a subway. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's out of his mind. And the reason I'm pissed at Campea for this, and I have been for 2 years, is, well, first of all, I don't like Campea anyway, but he's not correcting anything here. Campea's just going right along with it.
Yeah.
And you could say he does that for the value of the show, but if you wrote in with the opposite perspective, he wouldn't even put you on the show. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't even have addressed this. He addressed this because it is just such garbage nonsense, like illogical leftist buffoonery. So let's continue.
Example does this set for young MCU fans? All right, thanks.
One more thing, before, and then we'll get to the rest of this. What kind of example does this set? Again, she literally just said, and you guys can look it up. You can see the exact quote. She literally, it was just like, I value my freedom. I don't think we should be told what to do. That's it. And he's like, what the hell kind of example does this set for Marvel fans? What do you think young MCU fans are just supposed to be like marching along to their instructions and orders from the government? This is so silly. These guys are buffoons. I'm concerned about what they are saying. What she said is the absolute fundamental of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Thanks a lot for sending that in, Steve.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. Thank God.
Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline Lilly.
Who, I'm not going to lie, I just adore Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, well.
She's a good Canadian kid. I've had a chance to sit and interview her on a couple of occasions. She's completely delightful, big, bubbly.
Yeah. Get to the insults.
Energy and wonderfulness and all that kind of stuff.
But? Is there a but?
The reality is, we live in a world, ladies and gentlemen.
I love that John's going to school us on reality.
Smart people,
Smart people.
Intelligent people.
Smart.
Can do or say some really stupid things.
Really, John? Tell us.
That's just the world we live in.
Oh, I didn't know. Did you know that?
I like to consider
do
myself
now.
a fairly intelligent person.
Let me stop him there. John was the guy who loved Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Well, I was just going to say, I didn't see this episode or whatever, because at the time that this came out, I was no longer watching Campea. I stopped watching him way back when he just had this love affair with Star Wars Episode 8, which he was so in love with it and just blind to all of its flaws, and just... I couldn't take him after that. So I haven't seen this. Well,
I will capitalize on this real quick before we continue. He was only like that about Episode 8 when he was kissing Marvel's ass, or Star Wars' Disney's ass. I mean, when it was first coming out, because he got to walk the red carpet with his wife, and he looked like just the giddiest little kid. Like, he wasn't a man doing this; he was like a little boy.
Which, I mean, who wouldn't be? I don't fault him for that part at all. But
no,
I mean,
but the point is,
let's not be blind to all of the things that were wrong with that movie, which I won't get into, so that we're not sidetracked off of what you want to talk about. But
he lied. The point is, he said, "Oh, I loved it. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, boy, it's the greatest thing." And then within a week, when the honesty started, he said, I thought it was a good movie. And then he went from it's the greatest to it's good to later he said he liked it. And then within a few months, he was so honest. He goes, and I thought Last Jedi was okay. I had my problems with it. I'm like, well, okay. So the truth is slowly coming out now. He didn't change his mind. He knew the movie sucked from the beginning. So he's a liar. I can't, this guy is, it's fucking idiot.
I can tie my shoes, but I will do
you believe him?
Stupid things.
No.
You are fairly intelligent people, but I'm absolutely sure you have done and said some really stupid things sometimes that maybe you look back on and shake your head.
Yeah, okay.
I believe Evangeline Lilly is a wonderful person, but this statement she made is really rather ridiculous. This is what she said. Now, we're going to put this in context in a second, but this is what Evangeline...
Here's her
said.
quote.
This was in response on Twitter. Now, understand this. She did not hold a national press conference, ask reporters to come to her house, to say, I can't
listen to him anymore. So her quote is right here. Some people value their lives over freedom. Some people value freedom over their lives. We all make our choices. Voice of reason.
Yeah.
Aptly named.
Thank you.
Does that quote say that she's denying the quarantine?
No, I think that the quote is actually, it makes perfect sense. It's, there's truth in that.
This quote fits right into like Braveheart, The Patriot, all kinds of movies that everybody pretends that, like, yes, that's a great point. We have to remember and we have to, protect our freedoms, blah, blah, blah. But then you say it when they're trying to tell everybody to abandon all logic and stay home because somehow that's going to prevent a virus. And now Evangeline Lilly's in trouble. And should she be fired from her job?
Cancel culture is strong with this one.
I can't even imagine this Steve clown and certainly John going along with it, saying that this quote that we're looking at here on screen is a problem for somebody. I mean, first of all, what the fuck ever happened to free speech? I don't care if she's like, I'm thinking about setting everything on fire right now. In fact, that would fit in really well with John because John's in favor, just like the vice president and president are very much in favor of the protests over the George Floyd situation. Remember, they were, the vice president was saying, the protests should not stop. They should continue. We need more of them. People were getting killed. Those cops were just sitting in their car. They got shot. Remember that? At least one of them died, if not both. Tons of just buildings were burning. They took a police force in Seattle, said, get the fuck out at gunpoint. The Seattle police force is like, they don't pay us enough.
Yeah.
We're out. We're out. That's the end of that. So all that happened, not for like a night or a week, it was months.
Yeah.
Campea, all those guys thought that was awesome. That was great. Somehow, if somebody dies at the hands of someone else, the way to handle that is to go out and kill people yourself. That's how they all chose to handle it.
Right.
And so that wasn't a problem for Campea, but just saying, hey, some people value their lives over freedom. You see the quote.
Yeah.
Saying that is cause for discussion. And that's what amazes me about this clown. I am just so appalled. Anyway, let's give him another minute and we'll wrap this video up. Here we go.
Okay.
Statement to America. It was on Twitter. Somebody asked her something. She made this reply. Some people value their lives over freedom. Some people value freedom over their lives.
Now watch
we all
this.
make our choices. Now that was in response to the fact that where she lives, there is a kids gymnastic classes are still allowed to be open, and she wrote that she took her kids to kids gymnastics class. She took some heat on Twitter. She just mentioned on Twitter she took some heat on Twitter for doing that, and she just said, hey, look, I value my freedom over my life.
You get the idea. It's just, I can't believe this is even a discussion point. And I think he said it already. He says it again, that this is stupid. It was a stupid, let's get to that point real quick because here, I just jumped ahead. Watch what he says here.
I look at what Evangeline Lilly said as being completely idiotic.
What an asshole.
It's completely dumb.
Listen to that.
Yeah.
However.
This guy went to law school?
Really?
Yeah.
Let me say this. In the instant cancel culture that we kind of live in
He went to law school, and he thinks that's stupid.
Wow.
Step back, take a little bit of a breath, and remember that where she lives right now, what she's proposing that she's doing, remember, she's not saying I'm going to jump around and start hugging and spitting in people's ears on the street. She didn't say that.
Yeah, so amp down, John.
She made a comment on her thing. And understand this, clearly where she lives, doing that is not illegal. What she's doing is not breaking any rules or any laws that are in place.
The fact that it can be illegal to hug someone or jump around, as he says.
If she got behind the wheel of a car drunk and
Here we go.
car into like a school bus or something like that, yeah. But at that level, she is clearly violating and breaking existing laws that we have in our land.
I can't listen anymore. The point is made. I never got, it's been 2 years now since they put this video out. And I've always been proud of her for being the first person in Hollywood that I'm aware of at all to just, instead of going along with this ridiculous nonsense, she just very vocally said that quote that was there. And she made very clear that, like, look, let's keep things in perspective here. We're human beings. We can do what we want to do. And the fact that angered people, I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, listen to this is a guy who he's got a fucking law degree, supposedly.
Yeah.
And even he can't figure this out. He's like, it's idiotic. It's stupid. Really?
Wow.
It's idiotic and stupid, huh, John? You know what I thought was idiotic and stupid?
What's that?
Was when John debunked that rumor, but it had something to do with Star Wars, and there was a rumor that was debunked about Rian Johnson was getting kicked out of Star Wars. But then months later, he goes, now that rumor was debunked. However, Rian Johnson is now getting kicked out of Star Wars. And we're sitting there like, wait a minute. So when somebody else beat you to the punch, he was a liar and it was a rumor and it was debunked.
Yeah.
But now
Which
months
is what
and
happens
months,
a lot.
all the time.
On
And
the
now
left.
John's way late to the party. It was like 4 months later. And he goes, and now you finally figured out Rian Johnson is fired from Star Wars. Anyway, guys, you get the idea. This is a little bit of a different video. We're getting away from Cobra Kai for the night, but I hope you enjoyed this video as well. This little flashback about this fucking maniac. Like, subscribe, comment, do all kinds. Let us know what you think. Let's talk about this thing, okay? Let us know your thoughts.
Are you feeling better, though?
I'm just glad to give this a little bit of a voice because this guy's such a fucking dumb shit.
All right.
All right, guys. Till next time.